What's up, homies? How's it going, house flippers? Welcome back to the Ground Up House Flipping channel. I am Jackson Wilkie, and today I'm doing something completely different. I went through my entire channel, and today I am going to be going through every single question that you guys continue to ask me, and with that, I'll be basically unveiling all of the mistakes that I have made. Now, I've been documenting this entire process of starting a house flipping business from the ground up for the last 6 months. I'm at house flip number 4, and as you guys have noticed, well, unless you're new here, I have documented the whole thing, including every single mistake that I've made. So in this video, there's gonna be zero sugarcoating. I will not hold back, and I will be 100% brutally honest about what it's like to truly start a house flipping business. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I wonder what it's like to actually start one of these house flipping businesses and how to avoid those pitfalls that seem to keep coming at my way, this video is for you. So homies, crack a beer, grab a seat, grab a notepad, a pen, and sit back and enjoy this video on the real, raw truth of flipping houses. So in order to do this, I gotta head over to my handy dandy screen. There I am, and there's the first question. So this one comes in from Keith McClure, and there is some random YouTube names, by the way, you're gonna see, but and I'm just gonna go in these in order. I'm not even like prefacing these. I'm not putting them in an order that makes me look better. I think if I just see the question and answer it as raw and honest as I can with zero notes, you're gonna get a better perspective on growing a house flipping business. So question number 1 comes in: how much money reserve do you keep to the side on each flip to afford the payment on the hard money for the next flip? So this question kind of has two answers, because it says how much do you keep in reserve to afford the payment, and then on the hard money for the next flip. So that's kind of like, how much are you saving for this payment for the one flip that you're doing and another one? I'm just going to answer this the best that I know how. You do have to keep a certain amount of money on the side for paying the interest only payment when it comes to hard money. I typically, I want to see what that payment is. I found out, doing this, the first hard money loan that I did was on a $250,000 house, and I ended up getting, I think, 90 something thousand, give or take. So it was about $350,000 of money loaned. My hard money interest only payment on that was somewhere around $2,500 a month. And you really need to have 6 months, 9 months, for this to, I know that there's going to be seasoned flippers out there who say you need 12 months. I don't know. To be honest, you better have at least 6 months, because you never know what can happen of those payments. And that's kind of what's nice about doing the smaller ones. I have 3 of them going on right now. I have 2 of them right now that have $1,200 a month interest only payments. So we're right at $2,400 a month is what I have to pay interest only. And so I would usually keep, at least 6 months. I've got it sitting there. Now, I will say that I'm not somebody brand new who had to like scrounge and find $4,000 or $5,000 right now to get into a flip. I've got a career. I'm 39 years old. This is something that I'm doing on the side, 1, with my wife, but 2, to make some extra money. We're going to get into, capital gains and everything else, crazy stuff about starting a house flipping business. But right away, I would just make sure that you could do at least 6 months of those payments. And again, the lower the amount that you are obviously loaning on, the less that you would need. And there's probably people here that are going to say, hey, I would have at least 9 to 12 months. You never know. Here's the crazy part about hard money loans is that they're typically, at least the ones that I work with, they're for 6 months, but they can be extended, an extra three months, 6 months. But you do have origination fees with that. So if you go longer than that 6 months, they're going to hit you with origination fees again. It could be a couple $1,000s. So just be mindful of that. But that is, what I do is I keep at least 6 months there. But I have, I sold one. My first one made a good profit. That chunk is sitting there. And then I did the other 3. One other thing I know, and this is what's cool, I think, about my channel, is that I'm in the middle of it, of starting out, right? I don't know everything, and I've made all the mistakes. So the other aspect of this is that I get a certain amount for the hard money loan for the draw process, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, a question that you have, to pay my contractor, right? And so sometimes the hard money, and I broke this down in an entire video, they actually give you more money than what you originally put in your budget. So let's say doors and trim and paint and all this was $5,000, and they're like, no, we think it's $6,500. So yes, that's more money they're going to loan you, which is a little bit more of the closing cost. But if you need to take that 6,500, it's there. So a couple times my wife and I have taken the full, let's say 6,500. Well, there's an extra 1,500 there. My contractor only said he needs $5,000. We pay him $5,000 and we take that 1,500 and we just put it in our account. So we have a little bit of a cushion there to pay the monthly payments. You know what I mean? So little trick there. Let's get back here. The next question, I'm just going right down the list. We'll go down. The hard part is finding the deals. How do you get yours? So if you go back to video 2 on this, the only way that I've ever found deals is Facebook Marketplace through wholesalers. Now, recently I actually found my second deal, which is the one that it closes in about 2 weeks. So that'll be the second flip that I'm closing on. I met a guy named, we call him on this channel, you know, Money Mike. He's a wholesaler out of Kansas City, but he's very good on the phones. And so he's been finding me some too. But what I do is I go to all the Facebook groups for investors and you just start putting in there the areas that you're looking for and your buy box, which is kind of like size of the house, bedrooms, bath, all that. You're going to start getting inundated with leads, or I guess houses. So here's the key to that. Again, I think what some of the guys have flipped for a long time and gals, make sure you get a different email address, because if you have a good email address, you're going to start getting dozens and dozens of emails there and it kind of drowns everything else out. So create a separate email. Just go to Gmail and create one and use that so that you can track all of those deals in one email. But the other thing about this, I'm learning after doing 4 flips, lead generation is key. So you've got to, after talking with actually 3 people who flipped hundreds and hundreds of homes, they all say the best deals come from real estate agents. So I would say right now, the best thing you could do is start just calling real estate agents and say, hey, I'm a local investor. I'm looking to flip some homes. Do you have any deals? And then have some kind of tracking system, a CRM or something where you can track those real estate agents. But that's going to be where you're going to find your best deals. So let's get into the next one here. We're going to keep going down. What interest rate on hard money loan? Google says 10 to 18%, which is something that you should think long and hard about advocating other people to do. So with mine, I am paying right around 12% interest rates on mine, and there's also 2 points up front, so like origination fees on the total amount loaned, right? So yes, you're right. Google says 10 to 18. I think that's totally fair. It's kind of funny. You get in some of these Facebook groups and you get these like slapdicks out there and they're like, oh, if I'm paying anything more than 9%, you're a shitty hard money lender. It's like, dude, like, I don't know why you boast about that, for one, but two, 10, 12, like 12% is really a good rate right now. I have talked to dozens and dozens of hard money lenders, and typically, in fact, I was listening to a guy who started a hard money company, not Hard Money Joe. He started his own and made $1 million on it, and he said that once he made $1 million on his hard money, he would teach how to do it. He tries to stay under where everybody is, and he goes, dude, lately the interest rates have risen so much. Most of his competitors are at 14 to 16%, so he's right in that 11 to 12. So that's a really good rate that you're gonna find, is 11 to 12. Now there's different private money, somebody lending you money, they want 8%, whatever, but typically hard money lenders, and this is the state of Texas, 12% is going to be a really good rate. All right, so let's go down to the next one, and I stopped saying the names, but you guys know who you are. But this is Terry Hamilton. Do you have a mentor? Hell yeah, I do. And here's the thing. I've never disclosed this on the channel, but I'm an honest dude and I tell you everything. Before I got into house flipping, I actually bought Pace Morby's program. If you ever heard about subject to loan, I thought that was going to be the path. Once I get in, and it's probably the best course. Like, he really puts a lot of effort into it. There's a ton of value, but I was like, once I went through, I'm like, this is kind of the last thing I ever want to do. You know, just calling people and trying to find really good deals back in, and not saying anything. You can have your opinions about subject to or anything. There's a million ways to invest. But once I got into it and started learning about it, and actually now that I'm in the flipping business, all the sellers, that's all they hear now is these subject to. It's been put out there so much. I knew I wanted to kind of get away from that. So with that being said, paying a ton of money for programs is, I don't feel like, the best thing to do right out of the gate. Now, if there is somebody who's in your market and says, hey, I'll teach you exactly what I'm doing, I think it's worth its weight in gold. But the majority of you are probably starting out right now and you have more issues just getting going than anything else. So I think what you'll end up doing is you're going to start buying courses. And again, I didn't start flipping for 2 years because I listened to podcasts, I read books, I bought a $12,000 subject to program, and it just kept putting me farther and farther. And so the only good news that came out of buying that program was that I was just like, I am so tired of spending money and all of this time. I need to start making it back. I just need to go. And if you go back to my channel at the beginning, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, you're going to see me literally not know anything. LLCs, business accounts, nothing. So I was as wet behind the ears as anybody who's ever done this. But now when it comes to actual mentors, hell yes. I started talking to people who are actually doing it. And the funny part about it is the people behind the scenes who don't have the YouTube channels, they're straight killers. And guess what? They literally tell you everything. I got a guy at the gym who's done 100 flips and there's nothing that he hides. He literally, I can call him any day and he'll look at properties. He'll go through, dude, he gives me all the insight, how to list property. Wealth of knowledge, dude. I ain't shitting you. It's the most amazing experience. So I think the real ballers out there that are doing it at a high level, they're kind of behind the scenes and they just give. My number one mentor, Hard Money Joe. That's a for real thing. I actually met him on one of those Facebook posts, about trying to find creative loans, for, again, I came from the subject to world. I didn't do any subject to, but I was like, any creative loans for flipping? I didn't even know what a loan was or hard money, right? So I've really come a long way in just 5 to 6 months. And hey, that's your best mentor is getting in and kind of getting your ass kicked a little bit, or this YouTube channel, which is the only one out there documenting it from, the ground up. But Hard Money Joe was a wholesaler, for about 5 years, even had a wholesale company. And then he flipped for 4 or 5 years, did hundreds of flips, and now he does the hard money loan. So he's been literally at the rock bottom to, where he is now. And he's been my number one mentor. We talk, 5 times a day. It's just been, and then I've also got Ozzy who sold my is selling one of my flips. He's done, 100 flips. So what you need to do inevitably is start finding, especially the first 2 that I mentioned are big time team leading real estate agents who have massive teams or brokerage. And then they all get their deals from all their agents at their brokerage. That's what they both told me. Again, real estate agents have all the deals, but they've learned that commission one time only pays one time, but the investing is the big part. So those have kind of been my mentors as local big producing, agent / investors and Hard Money Joe. So the crazy part to me is 70-80% of you are not even subscribed to this channel. Maybe you're brand new. This is the most raw, honest channel. I'm not tooting my horn. That's what all the comments. In fact, the funny part is trying to find questions in the comments. I spent like 3 hours doing this, guys. Every comment in there was just like, this is the best channel. I can't believe there's not 100,000 subs. I appreciate all of the comments, homies. Holy crap, is there a lot of love in there about how raw and honest this channel is. So make sure you guys are subbing so you don't miss a thing. And I just realized I still got about 25 questions, so I might have to break this into a part 2 series. You guys comment down below on this video if you like this style of video. I'm gonna get back out there vlogging, showing everything, but if you like me answering these questions from my perspective, let me know and I'll do a part 2 because I know I won't get through all these today. All right, so the next one says from Nick, excellent content. Thanks, homie. I've been wanting to get into this and I've learned so much from these videos so far. The question is the cash to close the only amount you have to fund into the deal to close on the hard money loan? Yes and no. Okay, so there are a few things that go into closing on a deal. I want to, at least the way, and again, I want to put this my way. I think there might be other ways to do it, but when you do a hard money loan, you've also got to pay for an appraisal, so that's out of pocket, and that's not like a closing cost, right? So could be $400 to $600. There's also insurances. So like the house that I'm flipping down by the coast, there's all that termite damage. Well, that's down by the coast. So there's wind, hail, storm, and then it's in a flood zone. So I had to get flood insurance, and then you have to get builder's risk insurance on all flips if you're doing hard money. So I broke all this down line item by line item because I didn't know any of this. And then I like, oh, cash close is $9,000, sweet. And then they're like, yeah, you need to pay for an appraisal. Yeah, do you have builder's risk insurance? I'm like, what the hell is that, right? So there are some associated costs that go into it. I'll be brutally honest. My flood insurance, I think, was like $2,400 or $2,700. So that is literally wiped off the bottom line. The only thing I'm trying to figure out right now is if that's transferable to a buyer. Now, the agent that I talked about in the last video, she's like, heck yeah, you can transfer those all the time. And I'm like, I don't get it, because I called the freaking flood insurance guy and that was the first question I asked him. Can I transfer it? No, you can't, unfortunately. And I'm like, well, what is it, right? So I'm literally trying to figure that out right now. But I haven't had to do that before, any kind of flood insurance. But you do need builder's risk insurance. And the cool thing is that the company that I found is I buy 6 months of builder's risk. It's about $900, give or take, $800. and let's say I only need it for 3.5 months or 4.5 months, I only got to pay that predetermined amount. Not predetermined. What am I looking for? What kind of word is that? What kind of word? Anyways, if I paid for 6 months and I only used 4 months of it, I only got to pay for basically 4 months. The other 2 months would be reimbursed. So I can't think of that word. It's pissing me off. Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's tough when you got these videos live. And that's the cool part about my insurance. The first insurance, I didn't even know about builder's risk, and they told me to get some. I got a quote. It was $2,500. I found one for $1,500, so $1,000 cheaper, $1,250. So it's $1,250 cheaper. The first one was not where they pay you back if you get done early, so I would have just lost $2,500. This one was $1,250. I did only use it, I think, 3.5 months, so I got 2.5 months reimbursed. Your boy's an idiot. I'm a new flipper. I forgot to call and cancel it, so I actually had that thing running for an extra like 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, I'm kind of an idiot like that. But hey, now I know, right? You got to learn from those bruises. So yes, you're going to have the cash to close. You're going to get that sheet from your hard money lender. It gives you a good, inclination, but there is a few other fees associated with it. All right, let's move it on down the line here. Screenshot. This one was killer because I don't even have to answer it. I got a baller named Elizabeth Galarza. She answered it with a sick ass answer, right? If I'm wanting to start flipping, who are the people I need to have in place to consult with before getting started? Do I need to have a real estate accountant to help me set up or with the tax issues before getting started? Now, real quick, I'm going to come back to her answer, but I just reached out to my personal CPA in Arizona. And the good news about him, he's a young boy. He's in his 30s. He's a hustler. The CPAs, the tax accountants, the financial advisors of the past, the 50, 60-year-olds, I'm telling you, and maybe some of you know them, they don't know these advanced ways. I'm being honest right now. Like, legit, they don't know some of these strategies. They just know like this little mold that they have, but there's so many creative ways to, capital gains taxes and to, put into 401ks, all this stuff. So anyways, I reached out to him and I'm like, in fact, I had a dozen questions about capital gains and that. You're going to see them on here. I'm not even going to answer them because I can't. So I was like, yo, homie, would you hop on the video with me? And he's like, sure, I would love to. So I'm going to get an actual young hustler CPA. And the cool part is he works with freaking NFL stars. He's like the biggest grower. He's a cool dude. You're going to really like him. And he is sharper than a tack. So anyways, let's get back to this one. And you guys comment down below if you guys actually want to hear from my CPA about capital gains, all the money earned, the big gains that you're going to be making, what you do with that money. So here's what Elizabeth said though. Number one, have your LLC formed, ideally a multi-member LLC. We're going to be talking about LLCs, sole proprietor, all that with my CPA too, because he's going to let you know. Next, she said your hard money lender. 3, reliable contractor. 4, a wholesaler or a real estate agent to get your own deals. 5, a CPA who understands real estate investment. 6, software to track your expenses, Xerox or any or other or even Excel or Google spreadsheet. 7, builder's risk insurance. And 1.1a, a business checking account. And don't name your LLC anything related to your real estate or investments if you ever want to build credit using that LLC. I hope this helps. You're damn skippy hippie, Elizabeth, that helps. These are the kind of people that need to be making YouTube channels and YouTube videos, right? But it's actually the way that I would have answered it, and I'm not saying I'm amazing. I'm just so fresh into this. The first thing I would have said though before anything is find that contractor. So you got to have good contractors, and that is the name of the game. The more I'm doing this, the more horror stories that you hear. And in fact, I've had about 4 or 5 deals pitched to me that are solely due on a contractor who bit off more than they can chew. So if you've got hard money lenders, you got the LLC, you got the bank accounts, you got everything set up, you got a deal, but your contractor skips out, you are effed, homie, and it sucks. And there are so many contractors out there that just say they can do all this stuff. They bite off more than they can chew. I'm telling you, that flip that I'm doing at Shore Acres, 300 studs, reframing the whole house, doing all that work, which he did in about 3 weeks. Most contractors, they would have, hey, I need 10 grand more, I need 20 grand more, I need 30, or they would have just left. I hear it every day, and I'm getting deals pitched to me. I got people messaging me and calling me and like, hey, I got this deal. Well, what's up with it? Well, I just can't afford it anymore. Why? Well, I got most of the work done. Well, what about the rest? Ran out of money. Well, where's the contractor? He bounced. It's like, oh my goodness. So I'm telling you right now, You can have everything in line, but you got to have that good contractor. Now, you guys had a question here in a little bit. What's your relationship with your contractor and what's your splits? Because I'm doing it probably differently than most people do, and that's going to be, and it's my story, it's the way that I want to do it, but I'm going to explain that. So, and the way that I found mine, I actually found him through a mutual friend, and I got to see pictures, and I invited him over to my personal house, this one that I'm sitting in right now. And I wanted to do a remodel in our house. Me and my wife sat with him, we met with him, we went through the project, he bid it, everything seemed amazing, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go through him personally, you know, on my house to feel him out first. Now, some of you may not have a house flip at the house. Tell him to take you to one of his projects. Tell him, hey, I want to talk to your past 3 clients. Hell yeah, do that. If they're good at what they do, they're gonna be like, go ahead, you do that, right? And then here in a little bit, I'll explain my process. But yeah, from there, the hard money lender, that's literally how I'm at where I'm at right now. I would probably still be screwed, not knowing much at all if I didn't meet Hard Money Joe. These hard money lenders not only can get you the money, but they got a lot of access to a ton of deals. They just know so many people in the game. So, and if you guys are in the state of Texas, in fact, you guys can always look in the description below. I've got my hard money calculator free from Hard Money Joe. It's the greatest calculator ever. I need to do some more videos on that. That thing is killer. Joe@sparklending.com is his email. You are more than welcome to use Joe. Just tell him your boy Jackson, Ground Up House Flipping, sent you. Don't bombard him with just questions all the time, but if you really are serious about inquiring about a hard money loan, any questions about that, and if you're in different states, he's got connections all across the country. He can hook you up with a referral of somebody trustworthy. But yeah, and then tracking stuff, you know, is just as simple as, like she said, if you're more, I'm more of like a bank account, and then we just kind of print it out and we do the Google spreadsheets. Some people are way more analytical. I'm just a doer. I'm a goer. That's kind of my thing. I talked about that before, so that's a great. I love Elizabeth's answer on that one. That was sick. And you guys, you know, feel free to go through these comments and read them too. But all right, every time you take out a hard money loan, do they post on your credit report? Hold on. Okay, I thought I got the reply on this. No, it does not. It's actually an asset-based loan. And Hard Money Joe actually commented on this and answered that. But no, it does not go on your credit report. It's an asset-based loan. So it's going towards that actual asset, which is everything to do with the LTV, right? Loan to value and the ARV. So they're loaning on that actual house. So that's the good news about it. Next up, hi, I already have an LLC set up. Do I find the house to purchase or do I look for a hard money lender? And can you recommend a hard money lender for New York? I don't have any. If any of you homies know any hard money lenders in New York, go ahead and tag them down below, comment down below. But I have the LLC. Do I purchase or look for hard money? Well, you can't really purchase if you don't have the money. I don't know what your financials are, if you're buying cash, whatever. I'm more of like, I see it as leverage to go hard money. I don't mind paying $1,200 a month interest only payments for these flips, because I'm doing 3 of them, right? I didn't even have enough side cash to do probably the 1 flip by itself, but now I can do 3 of them with leverage of hard money, right? To be able to do 3 at one time. So I would really, if I were you, and I don't know if you have a good contractor first, get the hard money lender, and then go and boot. I would say one thing that Elizabeth missed too is walk some properties before you even buy anything. Just go walk 3, 4, 5, 6 properties. There's dozens of them every single week, everywhere that you can go, and you'll meet hard money lenders. You're gonna meet contractors. You're gonna meet other flippers. You'll learn more doing that than anything. So that's kind of why I started looking at so many properties, and I vlogged every one of those. So go in my channel. You'll actually see one where I went and there was 50 people there. It was like a house flipping nightmare, whatever horror. There was like 60 people there. It was insane, right? You're gonna learn a lot from that. So, all right, what we need to do is keep on going. I'm about a third of the way through here. Again, comment down below if you guys want me to do a follow-up to this, because I'm not gonna get through all of these, but thanks for the video. Is Zillow not enough to research for estimated price? And I think what you mean is Zillow. No, it is not. Now, Zillow has been getting better and better and better as the years progress. They're getting, you know, a lot closer with their Zestimate, but hell no. In the game of flipping, a couple $1,000 can make or break you. And again, it doesn't matter what Zillow says. It doesn't matter what you think. At the end of the day, there's an appraiser who's going to go out there and they're going to put an assessed value on what they think that property is after everything is redone. And they're not looking at how good your contractor is. They're not looking at how good a designer you are, how good your agent is. Nothing. They're literally looking at the property and what's been sold around it in the last 6 months, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms. That's about it. So The most important thing is not relying on Zillow. It is making relationships with good realtors. There's a lot of hungry realtors out there right now too, with the interest rates high. They're not closing many deals. And just say, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to buy properties. Would you mind comping them for me? And we can work out a deal. You can sell them for me too. If maybe you do a discounted, price, you will get a lot of people doing that. And then you need realtors who have access to the MLS who can comp that. That is the most important thing. So that's my answer to that one. How much money did you needed to get your first flip? Again, I went through that already. I'm not gonna, to be honest, I think I had to put $24,000 down because I didn't hit that 70% loan to value. So I had to cover a little, and then the budget that they said was about 90 something thousand, and what our budget was about 80 something. So there's a $10,000, and you're gonna see that real quick. I wanna talk about this because somebody talked about the other costs you could see. Hard money lenders are gonna look at your project and they're gonna have a value based on how much it's gonna cost you to flip that house. So let's say my contractor comes in and says, I can do this whole thing for 70 grand, not a penny more. I can do it for 70. You're like, perfect. You put that in line item by line item, and you have to be very, very detailed. You can't just be like 70 grand. Again, I've done videos on this, guys. I'm the only person out there. I literally didn't know that. So I had to completely redo my budgets. I have videos on this, and I highly recommend. Here in a second, I'm actually going to answer a question about doing flips maybe in different markets. But hey, I've actually read a ton of comments. My favorite comments out there were all of the people who said, wow, I went back to video 1 and just watched this entire thing. That was literally the best education that I've ever seen. And there's a lot of you'll see in the comments who spent thousands of dollars, $10,000 on these courses and stuff, and everybody's saying just start at video 1 and go through this. You're going to get an absolute master's degree. But I needed about 24 grand. Now their budget again was like 95,000 and we came in at 80 something. So again, the example was like my contractor says it's 70. They're like, all right, well, we think it's going to be about 75. They also throw a contingency in there as well, about 10%. So basically you can factor in if you say your budget's 70,000, they're going to come in at least $77,000, if not more. And so that factors into your ARV or your LTV, your loan to value. So if you're doing 70% LTV, and you're going to go off of their budget, not yours. So you may have to come out of pocket a little bit more. Again, this is why you need a hard money lender. They can send you the sheet of what the estimated cost is before you get into it. And that way you don't have to put in any offers or anything if the money's not right. So yes, get that hard money lender. Mine was about 25 grand to get into my first one. We made, I think, 53,000. We would have made about 75, but I had some issues. You guys can watch the video of the issues that I had. And last but not least, again, I got, you can see here, maybe you can't. We're only right here. I've got all these questions to go. So comment down below if you want me to continue doing this. This one says, this is great content taking on our first flip this year. I am a full-time wholesaler and have access to deals. That's amazing if you're a wholesaler already. Looks like you're in an expensive market. Hey, you gotta let people know where you're at so they can buy your deals from you. Or they can joint venture JV. However, my market is extremely expensive. Would you recommend going out of state to get lower entry cost? A home like this would cost $200,000 before rehab. So I don't know what house this is, but I can only guess it's one of the Baytown ones. I've bought a house for $44,000, $76,000. But here's the thing, when it comes to hard money, if a house I buy here for $50,000 is $200,000 over here, your hard money loan is yes, going to be a little bit more interest only payments per month, but it might only be about $1,000 a month more, per month. You just got to do that math. And again, down in my description is a free hard money calculator, and I've got videos teaching you how to use it. It's free. There's no strings attached. There's no lead forms. You literally just use it. And if you have questions, that's Hard Money Joe's website. You can ask him questions. But use that and start tinkering around with all these deals, and you'll see how much your cash to close is, how much your monthly payment is. It's the greatest flipping calculator there is out there, right? And I'm not saying flipping for the F word. I'm saying, yes, house flipping. But do you go out of state? Hell nah. To the nah. This is the most stressful thing that I've ever done. It's one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done, but most stressful. I am an hour away from a couple of my flips, and it makes it almost impossible to go look at things. Out of state would be impossible. If a water heater goes wrong and you got some random quote from a different guy, he's like $3,500, you have to take his word for it, or you have to find a project manager. I would never, ever, ever go outside unless you could find somebody who's already flipping and maybe they just want a little bit of extra capital, but they're managing the projects. But if you're going to start by yourself, no. Now, before I got into this, I was in that craze. I've talked about this multiple times where buy the short-term rental outside, you know, in the country on the river. I like saved up money, put 10% down on this vacation home, was going to do an Airbnb in Tennessee on a river, 2 acres, beautiful house. And guess what? My contractor absolutely effed me to death. He took so much money. And guess what I could do? Nothing. I literally went to every Facebook group. I went everywhere. What can I do? Can I get this guy? They're like, nope. He literally can just walk away with your money. You can fight and fight and fight with lawyers. You'll never ever get paid. They said the only tactic is to try and get a lawyer to write a letter to get him so scared that he'll send you money. He didn't do that. Dude, this stuff is very difficult, and even managing it right here in my backyard is obviously I'm into it, and I have made more mistakes than any house flipper has ever made, and I've documented all of it on this channel. Maybe I haven't made the most mistakes. So far it looks like I might be profitable on all of mine so far, which is good. But I made a lot of mistakes and I've documented them, and I couldn't even imagine the stress. I had a full-blown panic attack for the first time in my life. I'm 39, turning 40 here in about 2 weeks, and it was brutal. It was awful. It was just, you can't even control it. So I couldn't imagine doing that outside. Now, once you get seasoned, you do 20, 30, 50, 80, 100, whatever it is, you're not just going to venture out to another market. You're probably going to start having connections with people, and then you can jump into these markets with them, find contractors. But I think you start in the market you're at, and you save up for that cost. You use that hard money calculator down below to, you know, do the math or whatever, but you stay right in your backyard. And that's just me personally. Now, some of the gurus might say it's so easy. You can do it here, 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 and here. It's copy paste. I don't know. I don't think so, because it's hard as shit right here in my local town. So anyways, homies, I thank you guys. Did you guys like that question, Q&A style? Comment down below. We want to see more of that. And that means you guys need to put more comments down there of your questions. And not only will I answer it, I'm going to get Hard Money Joe to do a full presentation on hard money, the costs associated, and anything that might actually come up that you won't know, like unforeseen costs or some of his worst case scenarios, so that you guys know. 2, I got my CPA coming on, homies. You're not going to get free education like this anywhere else, so make sure you are subscribing. And I will say nothing else other than here is video frickin' one. So if you are new to this channel, or if you haven't seen it, start right here and watch all the way through until I release my next updated video. Just start right there and you'll thank me later.